Thank you very much for this honor to come and speak with you today. And for you to listen to me, that's even a better honor. I want to acknowledge that we're on Indigenous land. I want to acknowledge all my two-spirited brothers and sisters here, my Indigenous brothers and sisters, Oni, Boju, Nawakagiji, Miigwan, Dijnakash. My English name, my first name is Lyndon. I am a first-generation residential school survivor. I am family to Dudley George of the Ipperwash crisis. I am a two-spirited male from the Chippewas, Kettle, and Stony Point First Nation. And I have some pretty pictures I want to share with you today. Some pretty and some not so pretty. So cultures often collide, as we know, and so one of the significant differences between when Indigenous people hold a meeting and non-Indigenous people hold a meeting is Indigenous people, we always have food and something to drink, which we don't have here.
Just use the mouse if you want to go through your pictures.
I often think that I should have been either a doctor or a pharmacist because sometimes I look at my writing and I can't read it myself, so bear with me, and I'm going to try and keep within your construct of time, which is 5 minutes. This is a picture of how Turtle Island, also known as North America, has been divided and structured since first contact. This is the Indigenous view of Turtle Island, known as North America, by hundreds of thousands of Indigenous groups right across. So we must be mindful that on this land, no matter where you live, work, or play, is the traditional territories of Indigenous people. And in these territories, we came with original instructions that we are accountable and responsible for our territories. Within our territories flourish systems of governance, including legal principles and applications, clan systems, hereditary chiefs, medicines, knowledge, wisdom, songs, dances, languages, child welfare systems, and a clear understanding of sexuality, sexual expression, gender, and sex. So no matter where you work, live, or play, remember that these are the values and the principles of the Indigenous people, the original caretakers of the land that you are on. And we also had known our thriving, our honored ones, known as two-spirited people. Two-spirited people existed in almost every Indigenous community on Turtle Island. They are our honored ones with honored roles within our communities. They are our visionaries, our wisdom and knowledge keepers, our child caregivers, our medicine keepers, our medicine pickers, our gatherers, our hunters, our warriors, and our messengers, etc. They are held in high regard as they possess the gift of both the masculine and the feminine, the male and the female spirits. Many communities believe that the two-spirited people possess the ability to spiritually travel between the physical and the spiritual worlds. Our gifted ones, our two-spirited people, have always been under attack by settlers coming to Turtle Island. Starting from first contact, our two-spirited people were murdered by explorers, thrown into ditches, and killed by mad dogs. As time progressed, many different means were employed by settlers that would threaten our gifted ones and their traditional responsibilities and accountabilities to our communities and to our lands and our waters. The Indian Act would not only dictate who would be an Indian, but it would also make Indigenous ceremonies punishable by imprisonment and/or death. This included the ceremonies of our two-spirited people, our gifted ones. The plan was to get rid of the Indian problem and assimilate the Indians into a way of life that is not our own. Canadian Indian residential schools are part of the dark history that Canada tried to keep hidden for over 100 years. These schools were designed to kill the Indian in the child. Brutal punishment and torture, unimaginable physical, sexual, emotional, mental, and spiritual abuse was beaten into thousands of little Indian kids. Hundreds of little Indian kids trying to find their way home, trying to get out of the punishment that was being inflicted upon them, would die. Among those thousands of Indigenous children were our two-spirited, our gifted ones. Our children were forced to learn languages foreign to them. They would be forced to learn of a family construct as well as family dynamics that were unfamiliar to them. They were forced to practice a religion that would often contradict their Indigenous sex and rape were wrong. They were forced to learn that being two-spirited was wrong and they would be punished. Indigenous communities have been inclusive communities, communities built on respect, built on understanding that everybody is equal and that everybody has something important to bring to the table of the community, that everybody has a voice, everybody has wisdom and knowledge to share, and that everybody has a unique perspective to learn from. We have believed that everybody should feel appreciated, everybody should feel they are contributing, that everybody should feel love, and everybody should feel safe. Justice Murray Sinclair, who is a judge, Aboriginal leader, former head of the Truth and Reconciliation Commission of the Canadian Indian Residential Schools, appointed to the Senate as independent by Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, said, "Being two-spirited was traditionally a position of respect and honor. Ceremonies, we have been taught, are enhanced if done by or with two-spirited people present, for it is believed that they embody the strengths and spirits of both man and woman and bring forth a special healing power and medicine to every special event." As we move forward as a community comprised of many different nations from around the world, who bring many different worldviews, values, standards, beliefs, and morals, it is important as we move forward as Hamiltonians, as a united front, and remember the rich and contributing culture of the Indigenous people, the original caretakers of this land. Thank you.
Thank you, Lyndon. Councillor Johnson.
Thank you. Madam Chair, Lyndon George is known to many of us in City Hall because he is the Indigenous Outreach Coordinator for our Hamilton Community Legal Clinic and is doing great work in the City of Hamilton. And I'm sure I can credibly speak on behalf of Council in thanking him for his great work in our local Hamilton community. Thank you very much.
Jim McGrich.
Thank you. Thank you, Lyndon.